Ji-won stood in the grand hall of the Galactic Council station, trying his best not to look as nervous as he felt. The ceiling stretched impossibly high above him, covered in lights that looked like stars. Around him, creatures from dozens of different worlds moved through the crowd. Some walked on two legs like humans, others floated in the air. A few crawled along the walls with sticky feet. He adjusted his formal uniform and stayed close to Ambassador Hyun, his mentor, and the leader of Earth's diplomatic mission. This was humanity's first real chance to join the galaxy as equals. For 50 years, humans had been considered too young, too dangerous, too unpredictable. Now, finally, they had earned their seat at the table. "Remember," Hyun whispered to him, "be respectful. Make eye contact but don't stare. Smile but not too much. These species have been working together for thousands of years. We're the new ones here." Ji-won nodded. He had studied for months, learning the customs of dozens of alien races. He knew which species considered touch offensive and which considered it necessary. He knew which colors meant friendship and which meant challenge. He was as prepared as any human could be. Then the Valerian delegation entered, and every conversation in the hall stopped. The Valerians were beautiful in a way that made Ji-won's breath catch. They looked almost human, but perfected somehow. Their skin shimmered with a faint glow. Their movements were graceful and precise. They wore flowing robes that seemed to be made of liquid light. At the front of their group walked Emperor Taeyang, tall and commanding, his face showing no emotion at all. Beside him walked a younger Valerian. She was smaller, more delicate in appearance. Her robes were silver and white, marking her as royalty. Her eyes were large and luminescent, shifting between purple and blue. This had to be Princess Nara, the Emperor's daughter. Ji-won had read about her in the briefing files. She was young by Valerian standards, barely an adult. The ceremony began. Representatives from each species stepped forward to welcome humanity officially. Ji-won stood straight and still, listening to speeches in languages that his translator implant converted to words he could understand. Some species welcomed Earth warmly. Others spoke with clear suspicion in their voices. The Valerians, as one of the most powerful empires, would speak last. Emperor Taeyang's speech was formal and cold. He acknowledged humanity's achievements but made it clear that Earth still had much to prove. Ji-won listened carefully, trying to read between the words. The Emperor was not hostile exactly, but he was cautious. Fair enough. Humans would be cautious too if unknown aliens suddenly wanted to join their organization. But then Ji-won noticed something strange. Princess Nara was staring at him, not looking in his general direction, not glancing at the human delegation as a whole. She was staring directly at him with those luminescent eyes, and she hadn't looked away since the Valerians had entered the hall. Ji-won tried to ignore it. Maybe it was just curiosity. Maybe she had never seen a human up close before. But the staring continued. Minutes passed. The Emperor finished his speech. Other ceremonies began. Through all of it, Princess Nara's eyes never left Ji-won's face. He could feel other aliens noticing. Whispers started spreading through the crowd. Even Emperor Taeyang glanced at his daughter with what might have been concern or confusion on his usually expressionless face. Commander Minho, the head of human security, leaned close to Ji-won. "Is she threatening you?" he whispered. "I don't think so," Ji-won whispered back. "She just keeps staring." "That's not normal behavior for Valerians," Ambassador Hyun muttered. "Their culture is extremely formal. Staring is considered very rude, especially for royalty. Something's wrong." The ceremony should have continued for another hour, but Emperor Taeyang suddenly announced that the Valerian delegation needed to depart early due to important matters requiring attention. It was clearly an excuse. The Emperor took his daughter by the arm and guided her firmly toward the exit. She turned her head to keep staring at Ji-won until the last possible moment, until she disappeared through the doorway. The hall erupted in conversation the moment the Valerians left. Aliens clustered in groups, talking rapidly in their various languages. Ji-won could feel eyes on him from every direction. "What did you do?" Hyun asked, pulling Ji-won aside. "Nothing. I just stood there." The princess of the Valerian Empire doesn't break protocol for nothing. You must have done something, shown some gesture, made some expression that offended her. I didn't do anything, Ji-won insisted. I was being as neutral and polite as possible. Minho checked his security tablet. I've got footage from 6 angles. Ji-won's telling the truth. He didn't move, didn't gesture, barely blinked. The princess just started staring at him the moment she entered and never stopped. Hyun rubbed his temples. This is bad. The Valerians are powerful enough to block our membership if they want to. If we've somehow insulted their princess on our very first day, this whole mission could be over before it starts. The rest of the day was tense. The human delegation attended more meetings and ceremonies, but everyone was talking about the incident. Some species seemed amused. Others seemed worried. A few seemed almost excited, as if they were hoping for conflict between humans and Valerians. That evening, Ji-won returned to his quarters on the station. He was exhausted and confused. He had done everything right, followed every rule, and somehow he had still caused an international incident, or intergalactic incident, whatever the right term was. He was getting ready for bed when his communication device beeped. He had received a message. The sender was listed as unknown, but the encryption was extremely sophisticated, military grade or better. Ji-won hesitated, then opened the message. It was short, just one sentence in perfect English. Please meet me. Observation deck. Alone. Come now. N. Nara. It had to be. Ji-won stared at the message for a long moment. Every instinct told him this was a bad idea. Meeting an alien princess, alone in secret after she had already caused a diplomatic incident by staring at him all day. Ambassador Hyun would be furious if he found out. Minho would probably try to stop him, but Ji-won was also curious. Why had she been staring? What did she want? And maybe, just maybe, he could fix whatever had gone wrong today. Maybe he could explain himself, apologize if he had somehow offended her without meaning to. He changed back into his uniform and left his quarters. The station's corridors were quiet at this hour. Most delegates had retired for the night. Ji-won made his way to the observation deck, his heart beating faster with each step. He had no idea what would happen next, but he knew one thing for certain. His simple diplomatic mission had suddenly become very complicated. The observation deck was empty when Ji-won arrived. One entire wall was made of transparent material that looked out into space. Stars stretched in every direction, and the curved edge of a nearby planet glowed blue and green in the distance. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Ji-won waited near the window, trying to calm his breathing. He heard footsteps behind him and turned to see Princess Nara entering through the far doorway. She was alone, still wearing her silver and white robes. Her luminescent eyes found him immediately and locked onto his face. She walked closer, stopping about 3 meters away. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. She just stared, the same intense stare from earlier. You came, she said finally. Her voice was soft but clear, with a musical quality that the translator couldn't quite capture. Your message said to come, Ji-won replied, trying to sound calm. Princess Nara, if I offended you today in some way, I apologize. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. Offended me? She tilted her head, a gesture that looked almost human. You did not offend me. Quite the opposite. Then why were you staring at me? Everyone noticed. Your father looked upset. I was staring because I was fascinated and confused. She took a step closer. You are not afraid of me, why? The question caught Ji-won off guard. Why would I be afraid of you? All species fear the Valerians when they first meet us. It is instinct for them. They see us and their bodies respond with submission or fear. Even the bravest warriors of other species show signs of stress in our presence. Their hearts beat faster, their muscles tense. They avoid eye contact. She paused. But you looked directly at me. Your body showed no fear response at all. None of the humans showed fear. This should not be possible. Ji-won thought about it. I noticed you were staring at me and it made me uncomfortable. But I wasn't afraid. You weren't threatening me. You were just looking. Uncomfortable but not afraid, she repeated as if testing the words. Do you know what humans are, Ji-won? Do you know what your species represents to the rest of the galaxy? We're the new species. The young ones. We only achieved faster-than-light travel 70 years ago. You are predators, Nara said quietly. Apex predators from a death world. Your planet has extreme weather, dangerous animals, diseases that kill millions, and humans survived by becoming the most dangerous thing on that planet. You hunted creatures larger than yourselves. You learned to work in groups, to plan, to never give up. Most species in the galaxy evolved as prey animals or scavengers. They learned to hide, to run, to submit to stronger creatures. But humans learned to hunt. I'm a diplomat, not a hunter. All humans are hunters. It is in your nature. The way you move, the way you watch everything around you, the way you refuse to submit. These are hunter behaviors, she paused again. This is why I was staring. I wanted to see if the reports were true. And they are. You are remarkable. I'm not remarkable. I'm just a normal person doing my job. Humans always say this. Another remarkable thing about you. For the first time, something that might have been a smile crossed her face. I must tell you something, a secret. But first you must promise not to run, not to call for help. Can you promise this? Jiwan's instinct screamed at him to refuse, to leave, to call Commander Minho right now. But his curiosity was stronger. I promise. I am going to show you what Valerians truly are. What we have hidden from the galaxy for 10,000 years. Princess Nara stepped back into the center of the observation deck. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then her body began to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot ground. The beautiful humanoid form started to change. Her robes dissolved into light and disappeared. Her skin began to shift and harden, turning into something that looked like crystal. Her body grew larger, taller. 2 more arms emerged from her sides. Her legs bent backward at new joints. Jiwan watched in shock as the delicate princess transformed into something completely different. Where a humanoid figure had stood moments ago, there was now a massive insectoid creature. She was at least 3 meters tall, with 4 arms ending in delicate but strong-looking claws. Her body was covered in a crystalline exoskeleton that glowed with internal light, creating patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat. Her head had changed the most. Her face was no longer humanoid at all. It was angular and alien with mandibles and multiple eyes. But the main eyes, the large luminescent ones, those remained the same. They still held intelligence and emotion. Jiwan's first instinct was to step back. His heart was pounding now. Every human survival instinct told him he was looking at a dangerous predator. But he forced himself to stay still. He had promised not to run. This is what I truly am, Nara said, her voice unchanged despite her new form. This is what all Valerians truly are. We are not the beautiful humanoids the galaxy knows. We evolved on a death world too, Jiwan. We were apex predators just like humans. We conquered our planet through strength and intelligence. When we reached space, we found that other species were terrified of us. They saw our true forms and they ran. They surrendered. They would not negotiate or communicate properly because of their fear. So you created the suits, Jiwan said slowly, understanding. The humanoid forms are artificial. Yes. Biomechanical suits grown from our own cells but shaped to look less threatening. For 10,000 years we have worn these masks. The galaxy thinks they know us, but they know only the lie we show them. Only the highest members of other governments know the truth, and they keep the secret because the alternative is chaos. Why are you telling me this? Why show me? Nara's crystalline form moved closer. The patterns of light across her exoskeleton pulsed faster. Because I am tired of the lie. Because my father is tired of it. Because we have built our entire civilization on deception, and it has made us hollow inside. When I read about humans, I thought perhaps you would understand. You are predators who learned to build civilization. You are dangerous but also kind. You conquered your world but also protect the weak. You are what we were before we started hiding. She gestured with one of her 4 arms at her true form. Would you still speak to me as an equal, knowing what I truly am? Would you still want to work with my people? Or would you be like all the others, pretending acceptance while feeling fear and disgust? Jiwan looked at her carefully. She was alien, more alien than anything he had imagined. Her form was strange and maybe a little frightening. But she was still Nara, still intelligent, still a person with thoughts and feelings. Your form doesn't change who you are as a person, he said finally. You're still Princess Nara. You're still someone who values honesty enough to show me the truth. If anything, I respect you more now than I did before. The lights in Nara's exoskeleton flashed bright for a moment. You mean that? Yes. No other species has ever responded this way. They always react with fear or disgust even when they try to hide it. Humans have a saying, don't judge a book by its cover. It means don't decide what something is based only on how it looks. Nara made a sound that might have been laughter, a clicking noise from her mandibles. Humans are even more remarkable than the report suggested. News of the midnight meeting spread faster than G1 expected. By morning, the entire station was talking about it. Security cameras had recorded him entering the observation deck. They had recorded Princess Nara entering minutes later. They had both left an hour after that. No one knew what had been discussed, but everyone had theories. Ambassador Hyun called an emergency meeting of the human delegation. Commander Minho was there, along with Dr. Yoonji, the chief xenobiologist, and Lieutenant Yuna, the tactical officer. They all looked worried. What were you thinking? Hyun demanded. Meeting an alien princess alone in secret without telling anyone? She asked me to come. I thought it might help fix whatever went wrong at the ceremony. And did it? Do you even know what went wrong? Ji-won hesitated. He had promised Nara he wouldn't tell anyone about her true form. But he also needed to give his team some kind of explanation. She wanted to talk about humanity, about how we're different from other species. I think we impressed her. Minho checked his tablet. The Valerian delegation is meeting with their High Council right now. Our sources say there's a major argument happening. High Chancellor Daeho is accusing Emperor Taeyang of compromising Valerian security. Several council members are calling for a vote to remove the emperor from power. Because his daughter talked to me? Ji-won felt sick. I didn't mean to cause that much trouble. The Valerians take protocol very seriously, Dr. Yoonji said. The princess breaking tradition like that, staring at you during the ceremony, meeting you secretly afterward. To them it's not just rude, it's scandalous. Before anyone could say more, Ji-won's communicator beeped. He had received an official message. Ambassador Hyun and Ji-won were summoned to meet with Emperor Taeyang immediately. Private meeting. No other delegates allowed. They walked through the station in tense silence. The meeting room was small and plain, with just a table and chairs. Emperor Taeyang waited inside, standing by the window. He looked tired, older than he had appeared at the ceremony. Ambassador Hyun, Diplomat Ji-won. The emperor nodded to each of them. Thank you for coming. Please, sit. They sat. Ji-won's heart was pounding. He had no idea what to expect. My daughter told me about your conversation last night, the emperor said. She told me what she revealed to you. Her true form. Your Majesty, I promised her I wouldn't tell anyone. I know. She told me that as well. She was impressed that you kept your promise even when your superiors questioned you. Taeyang sat across from them. I owe you both an explanation. The Valerians have been living a lie for 10,000 years. We hid our true nature because we believed it was necessary for peace. We thought that if the galaxy saw what we really were, they would never trust us, never work with us. We would be forever seen as monsters. But you created a false civilization, Hyun said quietly, built on deception. Yes, and it has cost us more than you can imagine. We forgot how to be proud of ourselves. We forgot our own history, our own culture. Our young people grow up wearing masks, never knowing the feeling of sun on their true skin. My daughter represents a new generation. They are tired of hiding. They want to be seen for what they truly are. Is that why she showed herself to me? Partially. But also because she wanted to test something. She wanted to see if humans could accept us, could look at a Valerian in true form and still see a person, not a monster. Taeyang leaned forward. And you passed that test, Diplomat Ji-won. My daughter came back from your meeting more excited than I have seen her in years. She believes that humans might be the key to freeing our people from this deception. I don't understand, Ji-won said. How could we help with that? Dr. Yoonji cleared her throat. May I speak, Ambassador? Hyun nodded and Yoonji pulled out her tablet. I've been studying human psychology and comparing it to other species. We have something unusual in our behavior. Humans befriend predators. We took wolves, animals that could kill us, and turned them into dogs. We keep cats as pets even though they're natural hunters. Some humans even try to befriend bears, sharks, and other dangerous creatures. No other species in the galaxy does this. We also have extreme persistence, Yoonji continued. On Earth, humans used to hunt by running after animals for hours or days until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. We're not the fastest or strongest, but we never give up. These traits make us unique. We see potential friends everywhere, even in things that should scare us. Emperor Taeyang nodded slowly. Yes, this is exactly what my daughter hoped to find. Humans are predators who learned cooperation. You are dangerous but also kind. You conquered your world but also learned to protect it. You are what we were before we started hiding. Your Majesty, Hyun said carefully, what exactly are you proposing? I want my daughter to remain with the human delegation. A cultural exchange. She would learn from you and you would learn from her. She would be the first Valerian in 10,000 years to live openly in her true form among another species. Ji-won and Hyun exchanged glances. This was far more than a simple diplomatic arrangement. This was revolutionary. This could change everything. High Chancellor Deho and the conservative faction will never allow this, Hyun said. They'll see it as a threat to everything the Valerians have built. They already see it as a threat. That is why they are trying to remove me from power. But I have support among the younger generations and some of the older council members who remember what we lost. If humans agree to this exchange, it will show the galaxy that change is possible. That we don't have to hide forever. And if we refuse, Taeyang's expression hardened. Then my daughter will be forced back into her suit, back into the lie. And the Valerians will continue living as we have for 10,000 years. Hiding. Ashamed. Half alive. Ji-won thought about Nara standing in the observation deck, showing her true form, asking if he could still see her as a person. He thought about the courage it must have taken for her to remove that mask. He thought about what it would mean if she had to put it back on forever. I'll do it, Ji-won said. If Ambassador Hyun approves, I'll accept the responsibility. Hyun was quiet for a long moment. This could destroy Earth's chances of joining the Galactic Council. If the conservative Valerians succeed in painting this as humans corrupting their princess, other species might turn against us. We could lose everything we've worked for. Or we could gain an ally who trusts us enough to show us their true face. Ji-won countered. Isn't that what diplomacy is supposed to be about? Building real relationships, not just trading polite lies. Hyun smiled slightly. You sound like your training officer, fine. But this is on your head, Ji-won. If it goes wrong, don't expect me to save you. I understand. Emperor Taeyang stood, relief visible in his posture. Thank you. Both of you. I will make the arrangements official. My daughter will join your delegation tomorrow. But I must warn you, High Chancellor Deho will not accept this quietly. He will try to sabotage the exchange. Be careful. Watch for threats from unexpected directions. They left the meeting room and walked back toward the human quarters. Ji-won felt like he was floating. Everything had changed so fast. Yesterday he was just a normal diplomat attending ceremonies. Today he was responsible for an alien princess and potentially changing the course of galactic history. Princess Nara moved into the human delegation quarters the next day. She arrived in her true form, not wearing the biomechanical suit. The crystalline exoskeleton caught the light beautifully, creating rainbow patterns across the walls. Some of the human staff were startled at first, but they adjusted quickly. Within hours, people were greeting her normally in the hallways. Ji-won found her fascinating to work with. In her true form, she was stronger and faster than any human. Her 4 arms let her multitask in ways humans couldn't. Her crystalline exoskeleton was nearly indestructible, natural armor that could stop bullets. But she was also curious and excited about everything human. She wanted to try human food, though her biology couldn't digest most of it. She wanted to watch human movies and listen to human music. She asked endless questions about Earth, about its history, about how humans had gone from hunting animals with spears to traveling between stars. Your species is so young, she said one day while they were reviewing diplomatic documents together. But you've accomplished so much in such little time. It took Valerians 3,000 years to develop faster than light travel after we reached space. Humans did it in less than 200. We had good teachers, Ji-won said. The first aliens who contacted us shared some basic principles. We built on that foundation. Still impressive. Humans learn fast, adapt fast. These are hunter traits. Commander Minho started including Nara in security briefings. She had military training, it turned out, and she understood tactics and strategy. Lieutenant Yuna taught her about human military history, and Nara was amazed by the stories. Humans turned their weaknesses into advantages, Nara said after learning about ancient human warfare. You were slower than many prey animals, so you invented persistence hunting. You were weaker than large predators, so you learned to work in groups and use weapons. Every disadvantage became an opportunity. That's how we survive, Yuna agreed. We're stubborn. We don't give up. But while the humans were learning to work with Nara, High Chancellor Deho was working against them. He had agents throughout the station, and they were spreading rumors. Humans were corrupting Valerian culture. Humans were trying to expose all Valerians to the galaxy. Humans were dangerous and couldn't be trusted. The rumors grew worse each day. Other species started looking at the human delegation with suspicion. Some avoided them in the hallways. Others made comments about humans thinking they could change galactic traditions. Then came the assassination attempt. It happened during a station tour. Jiwon and Nara were visiting the agricultural section with several other delegates. The section was huge, with plants from dozens of worlds growing under specialized lights. They were walking through a corridor between two growing chambers when the attack began. 3 figures in masks dropped from the ceiling. They moved fast, faster than human eyes could easily track. They had weapons that fired energy bolts. The first bolt missed Nara by centimeters. The second would have hit her directly, but Jiwon pushed her aside. The bolt struck the wall instead, burning a hole through the metal. Commander Minho and Lieutenant Yuna reacted instantly. They returned fire with their own weapons, forcing the attackers to take cover. More security forces arrived within seconds. The attackers tried to escape but were cornered. "Human extremists," one of them shouted. "We won't let you expose our true forms to the galaxy. We won't let you destroy what we've built." But Jiwon noticed something odd. The attackers' voices didn't sound right. The translator was working, but there was something artificial about the speech patterns. And their movements, those fast, precise movements. They didn't move like humans at all. The security forces captured the attackers and removed their masks. Underneath were human faces, or at least faces that looked human. But Dr. Yunji, who had arrived with the security team, examined them closely. "These aren't humans," she said quietly. "Look at the skin texture, the eye movement. These are suits. Very good suits, better than anything humans could make. But suits nonetheless." Ambassador Hyun arrived looking grim. "The Galactic Council is in chaos. News of the attack is everywhere. Multiple species are demanding that humans be expelled from the station immediately. They're saying we tried to kill Princess Nara." "But we didn't," Jiwon protested. "We protected her. And these attackers aren't even human." "The evidence suggests otherwise. At least that's what High Chancellor Deho is telling everyone. He has recordings that supposedly show humans planning the attack. He has witnesses who claim they overheard human extremists talking about exposing all Valerians." Nara stood tall, her crystalline form seeming to glow brighter. "This is exactly what my father warned us about. Deho is trying to maintain the old order through deception and fear. He staged this attack to turn the galaxy against humans and against my father. Can you prove it?" Hyun asked. "Maybe," Dr. Yunji said. She had been examining one of the captured attackers more closely. "These suits are made with Valerian biotechnology. Only Valerians can create them. If we can get these to a proper lab, we can prove they're not human. Deho will claim the humans stole the technology," Minho said, "or that the Valerians gave it to human extremists." "Then we need more evidence," Jiwon said. He turned to Nara. "The weapons they used, were those human weapons?" "No," Nara said immediately. "I recognize them. Those are Valerian military weapons, specifically weapons used by the Imperial Guard. They have unique energy signatures. Can we prove that?" "Yes. The energy signatures will still be in the scorch marks on the walls. Any good analyst can identify them." They collected evidence quickly. The scorch marks, the suits, recordings from security cameras that showed the attackers moving with non-human speed and precision. Dr. Yunji analyzed everything and compiled a report. "Ambassador," Hyun called for an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Every species sent representatives. The chamber was packed. High Chancellor Deho stood on one side looking confident. Emperor Taeyang stood on the other looking tired but determined. Deho spoke first. "The evidence is clear. Humans attempted to assassinate Princess Nara. This shows that they cannot be trusted. They are too violent, too unpredictable to join our civilization. I move that Earth's membership be revoked immediately, and that all humans be expelled from this station." The chamber erupted in debate. Some species agreed with Deho. Others weren't sure. A few spoke in defense of humanity, but they were outnumbered. Then Princess Nara walked to the center of the chamber. She was in her true form, towering over most of the other delegates. Her crystalline exoskeleton caught the light from every direction, making her impossible to ignore. I have something to say, she announced. Her voice carried across the chamber. I am Princess Nara of the Valerian Empire, and I am tired of lies. For 10,000 years, my people have hidden behind false forms. We have pretended to be something we are not, because we were afraid the galaxy would reject us. But this deception has poisoned us. It has made us weak and ashamed. She turned slowly, making eye contact with delegates from every species. Today, High Chancellor Deho tried to use that same deception and fear to destroy humanity's chances of joining our civilization. He staged an attack on me and blamed humans for it. But I was there. I saw the truth. The attackers were not human. They were Valerians in disguise, using Valerian weapons, following Valerian orders. The chamber exploded in shocked whispers. Deho's face turned dark. That is a lie. The princess has been corrupted by spending time with humans. She cannot be trusted. Cannot be trusted? Nara's voice rose. I am the one standing here in my true form while you hide behind your suit. I am the one telling the truth while you spread lies. You are so desperate to maintain the old order that you would kill me, your own princess, and blame innocent humans. Dr. Yunji stepped forward and presented her evidence. The biotechnology analysis of the suits, the energy signatures from the weapons, security footage showing movement patterns that no human could achieve. Piece by piece, she dismantled Deho's accusations. Counselor Hanul, a representative from the neutral Eric's collective, studied the evidence carefully. Then he spoke. This goes beyond just one attempted murder. This reveals something much larger. How many other species are hiding behind false forms? How many are living in fear of rejection? How many times has fear and deception been used to manipulate galactic politics? His words hung in the air. Around the chamber, delegates began to shift uncomfortably. Some looked guilty. Others looked scared. Emperor Taeyang stood and walked to stand beside his daughter. His movements were deliberate and formal. The entire chamber fell silent watching him. High Chancellor Deho, he said, his voice carrying authority that made everyone listen. You are stripped of your rank and position. You are charged with attempted murder of royalty, conspiracy, and treason against the Valerian Empire. You will be tried according to our laws. Deho tried to protest, but Imperial guards moved forward and took him away. He shouted accusations and threats, but no one listened. The evidence against him was too strong. With Deho removed, the chamber remained tense, but the immediate crisis had passed. Princess Nara still stood in the center, her true form visible to everyone. She looked around at all the delegates. I know many of you are afraid, she said, her voice gentler now. I know seeing my true form is disturbing for some of you. Your instincts tell you I am dangerous, and you are right. I am dangerous. Valerians are apex predators, but being dangerous does not mean being evil. Humans taught me that. They are predators too, perhaps the most persistent predators the galaxy has ever seen, but they are also capable of great kindness, great cooperation, great wisdom. She gestured toward Jiwon. When I showed this human my true form, he did not run. He did not show fear or disgust. He simply saw me as a person, not a monster, not a threat, just a person who happened to look different from him. This is humanity's gift to the galaxy. They see potential and worth in all forms of life. Counselor Hanul stood again. Princess Nara speaks wisdom beyond her years. I propose that the Galactic Council establish new protocols. No more hiding, no more masks. Let each species be seen for what they truly are. Let us build our civilization on honesty instead of comfortable deceptions. Some species will not accept this, another delegate said. Some will see our true forms and reject us. Then they are not worthy partners, Nara replied. Better to be rejected for who you truly are than accepted for a lie. Over the next hour, something remarkable happened. One by one, delegates from different species began removing their own disguises. A delegate from the Marathi showed that beneath their beautiful flowing robes, they were actually colony organisms made of thousands of small creatures working together. A delegate from the Koran revealed that their friendly appearance was a hologram, hiding a form made mostly of living metal and crystal. A delegate from the Shanex showed that they were actually quite terrifying-looking predators who had been using projection technology to appear more friendly. Not every species was hiding something. Some, like humans, showed their true forms naturally. But enough species revealed secrets that it became clear the Valerians were not alone in their deception. The Galactic Council voted that day to establish the protocols of authentic relations. Each species would be encouraged to show their true nature in diplomatic relations. Those who chose to keep using disguises would not be forced to remove them, but the culture of mandatory hiding would end. Trust would be built on honesty, not comfortable lies. Ambassador Hyun stood and addressed the council. Earth thanks this council for the opportunity to be part of this historic change. We may be the youngest species here, but we are honored to help build a future where everyone can be themselves. The vote to accept Earth's membership passed by a large majority. Several species that had been opposed before now voted in favor. Humanity had earned respect not through military might or advanced technology, but through simple acceptance of others. After the council session ended, Jiwon found himself alone with Emperor Taeyang in a quiet corridor. The Emperor had removed his biomechanical suit and stood in his true form, similar to Nara but larger and more heavily armored. "Thank you," Taeyang said. "You gave my daughter something we lost millennia ago. Pride in who we truly are. Courage to face the galaxy without masks. I didn't do much. I just treated her like a person." "Exactly. Something so simple yet so rare. Do you know what makes humans special, Jiwon? It is not your technology or your strength. It is your ability to see past surfaces, to find value in the unexpected, to befriend the dangerous and make allies from the strange. These gifts will serve you well in the galaxy. I hope so. We still have a lot to learn. And we have much to learn from you." Taeyang placed one large clawed hand on Jiwon's shoulder, a gesture of respect. "My daughter will remain with your delegation if she chooses. Not as my spy or agent, but as her own person. She has earned that right." In the following weeks, things changed rapidly. Princess Nara did choose to stay with the human delegation. She became an official cultural ambassador, teaching humans about Valerian history and culture while learning about Earth. More species began reaching out to humans, interested in working with the species that had helped start the revolution of authenticity. Admiral Kyung-soo arrived from Earth with a small fleet. In a private meeting, he revealed that Earth and Valeria had been secretly sharing technology for the past month. Valerian engineers had helped improve human shield systems. Human programmers had helped optimize Valerian computer networks. The partnership was already producing results. "This is just the beginning," Kyung-soo said. Together, humans and Valerians could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy, not through conquest but through cooperation. Commander Minho and Lieutenant Yuna continued working with Nara on security protocols. She taught them Valerian combat techniques. They taught her human tactics. The exchange of knowledge benefited everyone. Dr. Yoonji spent hours talking with Nara about biology and evolution. She learned that Valerians could actually change their exoskeleton colors to communicate emotions, similar to how humans used facial expressions. It was beautiful and complex, a whole language that had been hidden by the suits. One evening, Jiwon and Nara stood together on the observation deck where they had first truly met. Earth was visible through the window now, blue and green and beautiful. Nara's crystalline form reflected the planet's light, creating patterns that danced across the walls. "Do you miss your home?" Jiwon asked. "Sometimes, but I am where I need to be. Learning, growing, becoming who I truly am, not who tradition says I should be." She turned to look at him. "What makes humans so accepting of others, Jiwon?" "I have been trying to understand this. I think it's because we spent our entire history learning that differences make us stronger, not weaker. On Earth, humans lived in many different environments. Some in frozen lands, some in deserts, some in jungles. We looked different, spoke different languages, had different customs, but we learned that we could achieve more by working together than by fighting. We learned that the things that made us different were also the things that made us valuable. Humans are pack hunters, Nara said. You know the value of every member of the pack, no matter how different they look." "Exactly." Nara made the clicking sound with her mandibles that Jiwon had learned was Valerian laughter. "Then perhaps humans are not the young species in need of mentoring. Perhaps we are the ones who need to learn from you. You have only been in space for 70 years, but you understand something that species with 10,000 years of spaceflight forgot. You understand that strength comes from diversity, not uniformity. That truth builds better foundations than lies. That seeing others as they truly are is not weakness but courage. We're all learning together. That's the point." "Yes." Nara looked back at Earth. "I am glad I kept staring at you that day. I am glad I took the risk to show you my true form. You could have reacted with fear or disgust. Instead, you gave me hope. Hope that we do not have to hide forever. Hope that the galaxy can change. It already is changing. You started that change by being brave enough to remove your mask. We started it together, a young alien princess and a human diplomat who refused to look away. She turned to him. What happens next? We keep building. We keep learning. We keep showing the galaxy that honest relationships are stronger than comfortable lies, and maybe eventually we create something better than what came before. Humanity, fuck yeah, Nara said, trying out the human phrase she had heard Lieutenant Yuna use. Jiwan laughed. Yes, exactly that. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching Earth turn slowly below them. Around them, the galaxy was changing. Species were removing their masks. Old alliances were being questioned. New partnerships were forming. It would not be easy. There would be resistance and problems and conflicts. But for the first time in 10,000 years, the galaxy was building something on truth instead of deception. And it had started with a young alien princess who kept staring at a human diplomat. And that human who had the courage to stare back and see not a monster but a person, two predators from death worlds, recognizing each other not as threats but as kindred spirits. Together they had shown the galaxy that being different was not something to hide. It was something to celebrate. The future was uncertain, but it was also full of possibilities. And that, Jiwan thought, was exactly how it should be.